Hi, welcome in. I'm just sharing the live out with a few people. How are y'all? Hello, hello. We're going to be going live with a friend of mine. Let me put this on. Hello, hello. We're going to be going live with a friend of mine. Let me put this on. Do not disturb. There we go. Ashley Dreamstar Oracle. Hey, Frank. How are you? Excuse me. I'm just waiting for her to invite me or whatever to go live while I share the live out with a few people. How is everybody? How was your Saturday? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh wait, Missy is at it. Anniversary. Okay. There we go. Greetings. Hello. How is everybody? Good. Doing well. Good. Yeah, today was good. I did. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm doing well, Jean. Thank you. Today was busy, full of meetings. Like, I have 2 spiritual meetings on Saturdays. So that was from 9 a.m. to like 1:30, I think. Then I was a little bit lazy. I took a nap. And then, yeah, I did some reading. I made the video that Frank was commenting on. Thank you so much. I've been wanting to speak out on preterism, but not in the debating type way, more in like a knowing, like, and like what's to come. So I hope that came across as like, my point was, stop waiting for Christ to return in the sky. He's here within us, you know, because I feel like that's, like, so many people are just waiting on his return that they're kind of complacent and they just think that this is how the end of days is supposed to fall, you know, like fall out. I got a new one. But really, we're supposed to bring heaven to earth. And so, I don't know. That's the message I'm trying to... I don't identify as preterist, but I do believe the Bible prophecy was fulfilled in 70 AD. Well, then you have fulfilled eschatology is another way to say it. But yes, that is preterism. Christ consciousness is the second coming. Right. And I believe that he came and it was fulfilled, and it's just a continuation, basically, of the coming of Christ. It's here and now. Yeah, I don't like to label things either. Like, as far as religions go, you know, yeah, you're free. That's awesome. I like that. Oh, Dreamstar, are you gonna... I see you joined. Are you gonna do the live thing? Because I don't know how to do that. Labels confine us, yeah. I'll be on, gonna switch phones. Tornadoes messing. Oh, okay, no problem. No problem, I'll be here. I have prayers for the weather. I hope it gets better. That's scary. Bottom left of the screen, co-host. Oh, okay, cool. Hello, Starlight, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you had a good Saturday. I'm getting messages on my... I wonder if that's... Hold on 1 sec. Let me make sure it's not... Oh no, okay. We're good. We'll be right back. Okay, no problem. Yeah, we're gonna have a co-host, Ashley Dreamstar Oracle. We're gonna be talking about all things spiritual, but I think tonight we're gonna focus on a little bit familiars, which is like our pets, our spirit guides. So she knows more on that. I'm just getting familiar with familiars, so I'm gonna let her kind of take the lead on that. But I would like to discuss something else. Actually, you know what? I need to go get a book. But I don't want to miss her, so I'll wait. Good, I'm glad. Yeah, stay. I'm reading this book. It's about the divine conception of Jesus, and then also how Mary was divinely conceived, and so was wait, was it? No, it was just her, and then Jesus. So she had Jesus was an avatar of an avatar. So there was a lineage of these temple virgins that practiced this sacred ritual of divine conception, and it's fascinating. So I would like to share a little bit of that with y'all. So I'll grab that when she hops on. But yes, please. Awesome. Yeah, it's beautiful, and it has a lot of yes, please. I believe in Mother Mary. Yes. So it has a lot of mythology to back it up, historical events to back it up. Like it's beautiful. I highly suggest. It's Marguerite. I'm gonna butcher her last name. Let me just wait till I get the book. But it's in my bedroom. But it's called The Mystery Tradition of Miraculous Conception, I believe. So yeah, this was a thing that was practiced. And hey, Marv, how are you? And there was like they did sacred plant medicine. They would open their consciousness basically and allow this conception to happen. A lot of times they were weaving the temple veil, so it was like a as within, so without. So as they were weaving the temple veil, they were also weaving the womb to have a divine child. And it's really cool. Like, I don't know, it just has a lot of things that back it up. Like, and there's the infancy gospel of James is an apocryphal gospel, and I'm going to be reading that next because it ties in with that a lot. I think it's a Gnostic scripture, but it's really, really a good read. I'm almost done because I've been glued to it. So we're still waiting for Ashley to hop on. I hope her weather is not too bad there. I know they had like 70 tornadoes or something yesterday in the Midwest. I don't know. That's what somebody was telling me. I was like, good Lord. I thought Texas and Oklahoma were bad, but we've been fortunate not to have anything. We had some high winds earlier, but the weather here is pretty scary. Sometimes it'll come out of nowhere. Like Texas, it'll be like bright and sunny, and then all of a sudden it's thunderstorms and wind. And I live on a hill, so the wind is ridiculous. Sometimes it comes through, and it blew the roof of my shed clear over, like folded it over. It's craziness, but anyways, what else is going on with y'all? Let me think. What else? There's some things I wanted to talk about. Just waiting for Ashley, so. Oh, thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for tapping the screen, sharing the live, all that stuff. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Tonight is familiars. We're going to be talking about spirit guides in the form of your pets. And I'm not as familiar with familiars as Ashley is, so she's going to be taking the lead on that. But I'll just have my commentary on, because I believe that my are definitely spirit guides. They sorry, I thought I saw him. They definitely have like a soul connection. Do you know what I mean? Like there's definitely, hey Noel, how are you? There's definitely a purpose in why they came to help me along my journey. Hey, good, great to see you. I have a co-host. We're just waiting on her, so hopefully she'll be able to join us because the weather there is not so good. So prayers for Ashley and the weather there. But yeah, it should be interesting. See numbers everywhere, angel numbers, and I immediately look into them. Yes, I see them like constantly. I have, I guess, for the past couple years now. It does blow my mind too, right? And they'll change if you notice. Like they'll change. So there is a message there. Like in the beginning, it was always 444, and now it's a lot of 153. So it's pretty cool. But I see messages in everything. Like, because I don't know, I look into everything. Like, I made a video today on 543. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. I'll look for that. I see 43 a lot too. I don't know about 543, but it's usually 43. Or like 143. Uh-oh. Sorry, I thought I heard my dogs fighting. Oh, looked it up, and 543 is about transformation and love life and abundance. Ah. Well, 153 is like, it's biblical. Because Jesus caught or somebody caught like 153 fish or whatever. Ooh, excuse me. So, like, I'll see that and variations of that, like 135, 513. But I don't know if I have looked it up. I don't remember what it was. It's been so long. But I just know it has a biblical reference to it as well. And I see 1-4, which is also biblical. 7-11, which to me are just both kind of like divine numbers. Especially 7, that's used over and over and over in the Bible. So you see 11-11 and 3-3 and 4-4 most. Yeah, I was seeing 3-3 for a while there, and 11-11 too. So it just depends. Like I said, it'll be like seasons. I'll see different numbers, and they really do like have a message within them. One of the Hey Ashley, I hope the weather is okay there. I can't hear you. Are you talking?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think something must have happened with the Samsung towers because I can't get it to connect, and so I had to switch over to the iPhone. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay. I was worried about you. My dogs are freaking out there. I don't know if y'all can hear them.
we're still saying weather into like till like 10 p.m. or something like that. So if I can make it through then without tornadoes, that would be great.
Yeah, your sound is kind of muffled, but and then I got dogs barking outside, so it's kind of hard to hear. But hopefully we can get through this.
Well,
Oh, what is that?
I don't know.
Cool filter. It took a picture of you or something.
Pause. That's hilarious. Imagine if I had like a really weird face.
You don't, but now you're not talking. You're not moving. How funny.
I'm gonna just readjust speaker and see if that helps.
Okay. Is everybody else good? Can y'all hear good? Oh, sorry. I had a notification. Hearing is good? Okay.
I don't know how to unpicture
It's
myself.
choppy. That's weird.
I know. And I'm usually here on my Samsung, not on my iPhone.
Hello, Soundical. Hey, Joe. Do you want to rejoin, or if I don't know?
Sorry, guys. Technical
That's okay.
I'll be back. Thank you for holding
Hold
down.
down on photo and see what screen prompts. That's what Frank said.
Yeah, I tried that.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the follow, King. Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. She's gonna rejoin. It's like some filter that takes a screenshot, and then it's like from then on, that's all you see. In ahead of time. Good. Yeah, so she'll be back. We're going to be talking about all things spiritual, and in particular tonight we're talking about familiars. So that's like your spirit pets, your spirit guides. Oh, thank you for sharing the live, Joe. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Starlight. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the shares. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. I appreciate that. It helps boost the algorithm. Thank you so much. Lots of shares, Starlight. Thank you. So we will have Ashley back in just a sec, and we'll be talking. Is there any other topics that y'all would like to discuss tonight? Because we are going to try to go for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So anything that y'all want us to talk about, drop in the chat. Last week we were asked about astral projection and stuff. So we've talked about spiritual awakenings. We've talked, but we can discuss things again, obviously, if y'all have questions. So thank you for sharing the live, Joe. Thank you so much. I've talked about my Kundalini awakening. If y'all have questions on that, or sacred secretion, I love talking about that kind of stuff. I just was in my sacred session. I've been fasting since last Friday, and I'm still going through Passover. So like Tuesday is the end of Passover. I'd love to hear how it happened if you feel comfortable. Of course. Hey, Kylie. Kundalini. Yeah, of course. I've been seeing crows or blackbirds, and they always weird around me. Act weird around me? Huh. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kylie. Yeah, I figured it was act weird around me. That's crazy. I've been seeing 2 cardinals, not just one, but 2, and I've seen them about 3 times. And not just at my house. I saw 2 by the school after dropping my son off. So wild. I feel like it's my mom and my grandmother. And actually, it's ravens for you. Awesome. So same as Starlight. Ravens are crows, she said. Blackbirds. And they're always, yeah. So probably the same. That's cool. I have a lot of blackbirds too. I see them in like flocks a lot, and they'll be like all in my tree, like this huge flock, like squawking. But so I feel like that's more. But the cardinals, that's a little bit wild. You see cardinals once in a while. Always feel special when I see one. I know. I always feel special when I see one. So it's been crazy seeing 2 together, like 3 times in the last couple weeks. So definitely a sign. Hello.
Hey, are you able to hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Good. Well, hi.
Hi. I painted a cardinal last month. Oh, cool. I'd love to see that. I bet it's beautiful. Yes, we can hear and see you. Awesome. Audio is perfect. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so, oh, thank you, Kylie. So yeah, what was crazy is after I saw the cardinals, I was outside and it was nighttime and I was all alone, uh, sitting there like anyways, I won't go into the details of where I was, but um, just outside of my yard. And I asked my mom and my grandmother, I spoke their name aloud and I said, I know that was y'all when I saw the cardinals, but could y'all give me a sign? And all of a sudden the puppy bowl starts spinning. And I'm like, what the? And I sit up and it stops. But I got scared, but there was nothing. Like I'm in the pen, I'll just say it. I'm in the puppy pen, and the puppy pens are out. The puppies are out in the yard, so there's no way that anything could have touched it. I shined the light on it. There was nothing around it, so I was like, wow. It was like instant. So it was kind of scary, but at the same time, I knew it was them once I saw that there was nothing else there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But okay, so speaking of puppies, we're going to be talking about familiars. So why don't you explain what a familiar is?
Sure, I would be happy to. So if there's anyone, how should I put this? There's a lot of different opinions about familiars, like in the witch talk circle.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of people that will say, like, that a familiar has to be this way or that way. So I'll just present my opinion on the concept of them, which is outside of any, staunch rules, I guess. But a familiar is thought to be any kind of like spiritual, psychic, magic practitioners, like not their spirit animal, but in like a guardian spirit that would inhabit an animal. And you can look at that in different ways too. I mean, that animals, I believe, have spirits.
Oh
So
yeah.
it doesn't really have to be that the animal itself is magical. It's just like magical for you. And they will come along at certain points in your life when you really need them. And so for some of the traditional ideas, if it would be an animal that's like not domesticated, so like a fox or an elk or something like that, almost like an omen. When you see the animal, then like you're getting a message, right? So that's like one way. But since we have pets, we put those in the equations now. And so there's a lot of people that would say like your pets can't be your familiars. It has to come from like, like a portal in the woods or something. And other people will say, no, I know that my pet was my familiar. So it doesn't really matter. The conversation I wanted to have was around animals in general, our relationships to animals, and how like maybe any cool things that we've experienced with them, and then just kind of prefacing it with the familiar, because that's like the blanket term, but I think every human has some kind of wonderful story involving animals. And so
Yeah.
is that an overview? Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. So I resonate like a lot with animals. Like God has spoken through animals with me from day one. So I always have seen and like known and like, okay, that's a sign, And then like even to the point where like I had a scorpion in my house last week. That's a sign, I look up what's the scorpion meaning, and just like every little insect, it's so crazy. Like if I have a weird encounter, like a ladybug just falls on me while I'm working at my desk. Like where did that ladybug come from? It's middle of winter, and there's a ladybug falling on. It's things like that. So, so Starlight said, "Ooh, scorpions are cute." I don't know about cute, but I do have. I have one that I got last year. If you think they're cute, how about that one? I'm a Scorpio, and it was giant, so I kept it. That was a big one.
Frank said scorpion on a Scorpio full moon. That is kind of interesting. I mean, I think it was a little bit before, but
It was a couple days before, but still, very good point.
yeah.
They're fascinating to me. Yeah, they're fascinating, but they're in my house. Mm-mm. I don't like them so much, but you know, It's just because when my son was 2, he got stung, and so I'm like, Mama Bear, so I got to get rid of him. Perhaps next to a porcupine, cute. Yeah, be careful. Yeah, but yeah, I've always had signs from animals. So, have you been the same way? Is that something that you've always looked into?
Yeah, definitely. I am a big animal lover, have been since I was little. I started life out, well, a little bit later, but basically started life out on a dairy farm. And so it was my job to give the kittens milk. And then when I got a little bit older, like 5, then I could feed, bottle feed the calves. And so, and
Oh,
yeah,
cute.
I know. And I love animals. But so when I was little, I used to go out because we lived in rural Minnesota, and I used to go out into the woods or even into the meadow. And I know that I would have animals around me, like animals that I usually don't now, but like I felt like I was Snow White. I remember like having some deer that would come up, squirrels, bunnies, all that stuff. I remember this one fawn that came up to me. And so then I was just after I guess I like grew out of it, like a lot of stuff that we do when we're kids and then we don't have the gift anymore. But I've always just been an animal lover. But when I really opened myself up to spirituality, that's when I got her, and she was something else. So yeah, tons of experiences my whole life with animals, like good omens and bad omens. So.
Now that you say that, when I was young, I remember, I guess somebody like dropped off, like dumped a domesticated bunny at my grandma's, like around her place. And I actually caught this thing. It was wild. Like, I mean, it was kind of domesticated, but it wouldn't let anybody else grab it. But I was the one that could get it. And so, I brought it inside. She was like, "What are you doing with that thing?" Because it was kind of wild. It wasn't like it was originally domesticated, I think, but it had grown to be kind of out there. So it was like freaking out. My grandma was freaking out. So that's funny that you say that, you were attracted animals when you were young. I think I remember stray cats and stuff would always come to me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you too. So, this is one question I was going to ask anyway, and you brought it up without me asking. But I wondered if there was a tie if we're fond of like animals that correlate with our zodiac. And I wonder if there's something to that. And then, of course, we have the 3 that don't have an animal
Hmm.
as their, symbol. So I just was wondering if anyone in the chat too, if they look at their sun sign and if they resonate with it, because for me, it's Pisces and Leo, and lions were like one of my favorite, definitely. Any cats, big cats, little cats, the teeny ones in the Amazon that can like attack you. All of them. I want all the cats and the dogs. But then fish too. Like I love sea life, marine life, as long as it's not something that'll bite me,
Yeah.
sharks, not so
Yeah.
much. But I have a thing to this day that if I get into water, fish don't like disperse, they come through by me. And fish are always swimming all around me. So I was just wondering if, because your big 3, if you had any ties to that.
Um, I would say with Scorpio previously being an eagle, I have had encounters with eagles, or large birds, hawks, stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, I've had encounters with scorpions. Um, what would Sagittarius be?
So that'd be like the horse, since it's a satyr.
I don't really like horses. I'm kind of scared of horses.
I kind of wondered about that.
And then Capricorn is like a sea goat, so I don't really know.
Goats, I mean, yeah, goats with
No,
ponytail.
no, not really.
No,
But that's interesting to think about.
yeah.
Capricorn is in the house. Awesome. Yeah, I'm a Cap Moon Sag rising. I like animals, but not my zodiac sign. Okay.
Frank
Yes,
said,
horses are beautiful to me and their hair and everything. Yeah, horses, I like them. They are beautiful creatures, but I'm kind of terrified. I'm trying to get over that, but they're a little bit too smart for my liking. I've never been on one, but I've had a lot of friends who have had mishaps, been bucked off, been stomped on, been bit, and so I'm just like, like I want to love them, I really do. I'm gonna try. It's a goal of mine.
But I mean, we all have our like phobias, like we were talking
Yeah.
about earlier this week. Frank said, I had a bird, I believe was a hawk, pose for a photo on my walk yesterday. It was amazing. Frank, that's so crazy that you say that because this was yesterday, I believe yesterday morning. I was sitting outside and this huge blackbird came under like my terrace and like was maybe like this far away from me. Scared the crap out of me, and it looks like a toucan, but I'm pretty sure it was just a blackbird that had something orange in its mouth. I don't think we had a toucan here.
Yeah. Unless it escaped from a zoo or something. Opal Star said, "What is Aquarius?" Hey, Opal. Aquarius would be a man. So that one, right? Yeah, that one doesn't really have an animal with it. Um,
Well, Aquarius is actually, I mean, technically Aquarius doesn't have a gender.
okay. Well,
I mean, it does because all air signs are male, but the man with the water pitcher isn't given a male or female identity. Like in the tarot,
well,
there is breasts, and like it's kind of hermaphroditic. So yeah, it could be like guy or girl, but maybe a bartender is a
drinks.
Aquarius. Yeah,
Yeah.
pour in the water.
And then somebody asked Libra. That is another one that doesn't have an animal. It would be scales. Yeah, so like Lady Justice is what I think of. I don't know.
Yep,
I
definitely.
don't
And
know.
it is just the air signs that are yeah, I should be right about that. The air signs in Virgo should be the ones that are humanoid in their symbology or like with the scales. The other thing too though with Libra and the scales is that you could make an argument for a jackal. You could make an argument for Anubis in the scales
Hmm.
for the gates to the underworld. And
Hmm.
so then maybe we could think dog for Libra in that train of connection.
I'm a Libra sidereal, so I like that.
Oh, yep, there you go. There's your dogs.
And with the hawk thing, Frank, I actually have had so many weird experiences with hawks. Um, Two, I've had like on fence posts looking directly at me with their arms spread out, just standing there, just perched on the fence post. Twice that's happened to me, and I think that's really strange. But other ones were just like eagles, like very, very close to me. Hold on, my screen turned down for some reason. Okay. Um, I had a bird poop on me, which I think is good luck. But
I totally agree. The fact that that can happen like anytime, anywhere that you're outdoors is just wild to me.
do you know anything about the 13th zodiac sign of Ophiuchus? Yeah, we've talked about that, but yes, we can get into that a little bit. Um, it's the serpent bearer. It's the healer. I personally think it's the Christ zodiac, like kind of like the 13th zodiac would be like the 12 disciples plus he's the 13th. Um, Ashley is a guru in astrology, so she can elaborate.
Yeah, this is always my answer when this question comes up that I do believe that the 13th zodiac and the esoteric meaning behind that it is not a constellation that we just took out of the wheel.
Right.
Now, of course, we did have different calendars then that went by the moon, but they knew about Ophiuchus the whole time. It's something that was like omitted from the beginning that we can tell, not something that was taken out later. There's no wheels at all, no ancient artifacts that have Ophiuchus in their design. So that was just something that because it's a bigger constellation and because we're, seeking more answers beyond our 12 zodiac model, that one came up as a potential. But I do think that altogether we create 13th zodiac. That's my take on it.
Interesting.
Or you could think of it
So,
as
So you don't think that originally with the 13 lunar calendars there was 13 for each month? You just think that they kind of like overlap or yeah, like bled into the other months.
See, that's something to think about because look at the Chinese calendar, and they have always had 12,
Oh yeah, sure.
right? So that it's something that I wish I could ask them about, like a whole long list of things of why it went this way, but also, it doesn't actually go with the months. It goes with, the date to the date starting from the spring equinox. And so I do think that it's more or less how our months are divided into four. So then the zodiac fits with 12 than it is, moon calendar versus the zodiac wheel. I think it actually makes sense in it still. Sorry, that's my
Nobody
dog.
said nobody said that's the name of this person. The revolution of the Earth leap year. I don't know if the leap year would have anything to do with it. That's just like one day. I'm so glad I'm here. Oh, I'm glad you're here too. Um, I think I fall under the 13th zodiac. That's interesting, Starlight. It's actually, I don't know if it's actually considered a zodiac constellation still to this. I mean, they've discovered it, but like Ashley said, I don't think it was ever like a part of it. So it is a constellation. I just don't think it's technically a zodiac. It's not 12 equal months.
Well, and if we put Ophiuchus into the mix, then what happens is all the other signs they do shift, but it's complicated because the sun only stays in Ophiuchus for like 3 weeks, and so
Right.
it doesn't. Yeah, and when we're mapping out birth charts, we're also looking at degrees, so we need it to be a circle. You know what I mean? We need it to be a circle with how supposedly we move in orbit. It has to be like you have to have a compass to do this. So it's interesting to think of how the chart would be divvied up if we were to just insert a 13th versus, having the 13th have a more esoteric meaning.
Gotcha. Um, and I have a comment here from nobody saying it's exactly why you are talking about. I think he meant what? It's not 12 equal months. The Earth does not revolve around the sun 365. And then they had a rude comment about did we graduate high school? I'm sorry, nobody. If you have more information on it, drop it in the chat. I mean, I don't know what you're saying exactly.
I'm very well aware of leap years, not my design. But I mean, the zodiacs in the 12 does still make sense to me, and the dates are always the same. The only one that changes accounts for our leap year because it's in February, but it's not like there's never a leap year when Aquarius is moving into Pisces. Like every leap year is already well into Pisces, so it doesn't affect someone. Like one year someone would be a Pisces. You know what I mean? Like that's the only variable, and that's our design.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I'm not an astrologist, so I'm not exactly sure. Um, he says, that's what I'm saying. Why? I don't know what you're asking why, but sorry. Um, oh, it's okay, Oval. I'm not worried about him. You'll need to learn. Okay, well, like I said, I'm not an astrologist, but we're just sharing opinions here.
Yep, it's all just a conversation.
Yeah. So, back to familiars. So I believe that my dog Coda is definitely a spirit guide. She came to me when I was very unhappy in my relationship. Like, kind of like she was at the time I didn't realize this, but I was wanting a kid. And she became my child. Like I dressed her every day, I took her to work every day, I took her to stores. I mean, like everywhere I went she went with me. she was dressed to, I mean, she had sunglasses, she had the whole 9 yards, she had raincoats when it rained. She was just she was just my child and my best friend. We slept together, everything that you can think of, we were together. And so like my sister told me later, like that's why you were nurturing her so much, is because you were ready for your to have a baby. And then I did have a baby, and she was still my baby, but you know, she kind of took a little back seat to the, yeah. But she definitely helped me through some very tough times, especially during my pregnancy. I was very, very depressed, stressed, and she was always there. She's my best friend. She, you know, so, and like, I feel, so she actually had a, what is it called? Not a miscarriage, kind of like that, but with dogs, it's called something else. False pregnancy. Right at the same time that I was pregnant. And yeah, so when I went into the hospital to have my scheduled cesarean, she went to be fixed and all that. So when she came back and I was home with the baby, and like I know that she felt like we had a baby together, and that was her baby with me. I swear, because she would not leave my son's side. She like would just guard him and love on him and wanted everything baby, like would smell everything baby. I mean, she was just obsessed. So it was pretty funny.
I love that. So the same exact thing pretty much happened with her.
Oh,
So this one, I'll just do a little show and tell. This one that's being stubborn right now, this is Death. And this was Death's mother.
no.
And so she's a Siberian Husky, and Death is a half Husky, half German Shepherd. So, but she came to me in 2020 when I was pregnant with my youngest, my son, and she was just amazing my whole pregnancy. And I had to be on bed rest and stuff, so she was really there for that. And this is really before I was doing anything close to what I'm doing tonight. But when we brought Ian home, I had him in the bed, and I was gonna do like a little trial run with her and see, like, you know, infant puppy. She was only like, I don't even know, not even 6 months old. And so we're like really gentle, waiting to see, and then she just kind of like crouches up to his feet, and she just lays her little snout on the baby's feet, and she treated my son like that was her baby, like you said, like this is, oh thank you for bringing our baby.
Yep.
She would, if he, like, especially as he got a little older, if he would like drop his bottle or whatever he was, you know, chewing on, teething ring or whatever, she'd go pick it up, bring it to him. If he was fussing and I didn't hear, she'd come get me. And she was, yeah, she was just so sweet. And I won't talk about her all night. I lost her it's been a little bit now, but it'll be 2 years July that I lost her, June or July. And she was actually pregnant with Death's litter, and that was her second litter. And afterwards we went to get her fixed because I can't take any, like I'd already had to deal with 11 puppies, 11 grand puppies. But she didn't survive the operation. And so, yeah, and she was only 2. And it was really sad. Yeah, I'm not over it. But her daughter, Death, is the last puppy I had of that litter. We hadn't just happened to not rehome her. And so when we lost her mom, we were like, yeah, we're gonna keep her. But so this is Daphne, and this is a spell I was doing at the time. And this one is, yep, I'm just being myself right now. And this was to try to do like protection and health and vitality for the puppy she was about to have. And she actually ended up with 7, which was huge litter for her first one. And all of them survived. They thrived. As far as I know, out of the 7, only 1 did pass because he drank bad bacteria water. But genetically they were good. So
Yeah.
that's just my little story. This is not normal dog behavior, you know, like she's just like laying on this this is a witchcloth, but she's just laying there and she's like, yes, yes, do spells to protect my puppies. So that's
Oh,
my story with her.
sweet. Sweet. Yeah, and actually it's the dog before my dog now Coda, I had, and she actually passed when she was 2. And it's ironic because her name was Dolly Mama. And yeah, and I got her from a breeder, and her mother's name, because she had all the papers, was Coda Rides with the Wind. And then but I didn't realize that when I named my dog Coda, I had looked back at her papers later and saw that her mom's name was Coda Rides with the Wind. Well, Coda would literally ride outside the window. Like, not, she would have her back feet in, her arms up in the window, and her whole head, she still does it, her whole head out the window. She literally rides with the wind. So it was so amazing that, yeah, she like fit the bill.
Love that.
Sorry, Mama,
I
yeah.
I feel similar to so I should explain the reason I have a dog named Death, not, you know, the most popular dog name, is because there were 4 of them in the litter, 2 girls, 2 boys. I was very upset that she had gotten herself pregnant again because I just finished rehoming the other puppies. And so when they came out, there was 4 of them, and I was like, all right, well, you guys are going to be the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And, you know, Death was the one. She was the only fully black coat with a white underbelly. The other ones were kind of mixtures of blacks and browns and grays. So yeah, so that's, yeah, I just wanted to explain that because like it's not because I'm trying to be like super spooky. You know, there was a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, so it's crazy because like I feel like, or I don't know for sure, but I feel like in a way, like I lost my mom when I was young, and so maybe a part of her is in my dog Coda, like a part of her soul. She came so she could see her grandson and be with him. I don't know, but the way that she was so like doting on him and just like obsessed, and still is. Yeah, they're like best friends too. So I don't know. Something to make you think about though, because of how, the connection that me and her have, and then it's really sweet. But
Yeah. Yeah, animals I think are super important. And this is not, I'm not just gonna say, oh, I think animals are super important, but I think they're more important than we realize for our spiritual well-being, our mental health. I don't, I don't know what I would have done without Daphne because right after, like 2 months after I had my son, is when I left my ex-husband and got a divorce and got out of that dangerous relationship. And so if I hadn't had her, I don't know what I would have done. And also, when I had my car accident in 2021, she was with me in the van. It was just her and I. And like, I crashed that van. That van was totaled. And there was a moment where I was in the van, and then there was a moment where I was outside of the van, and I was looking at the van on the hill, and Daphne, my dog, was standing next to me. We were not in the van anymore in some capacity, and we kind of looked at each other and kind of gave each other like a nod, and then I woke up, you know, alive. So,
and
yeah.
she was okay.
Yeah, she was okay. She had one little puppy scratch.
Oh,
Yeah, she had a puppy boo-boo.
aw. I was born in a dog year. Dogs are special to me. Oh, I'm a
Awesome.
dog in Chinese astrology. Oh,
I love
I
that.
think I'm a ox.
You're a what?
I think I'm an ox in Chinese
Ox?
astrology. I
We
think
should look
so.
it up because
Yeah.
if you're an ox, then you have like that's like one of the enemies of the dragon, and we're in the dragon year, so we should
Oh,
maybe look at that together.
okay.
See what's
How
going
funny.
on. Yeah, yeah. My enemy year was 2022, and I don't want to go do it again. But
Huh.
yeah, not everyone has like you have power years and enemy years, but I guess you could say more like You have like high energy years and low energy years. And so it's the sheep or the goat and the ox who aren't as friendly with the dragon as the other ones can be.
Pretty sure I'm an ox. 85. I don't know, but I mean, it has been a little bit low energy this year. I've definitely, I've definitely been exhausted this year more than previous. But I don't know. I
I
don't feel
want to
like
answer a question here from Starlight. So in the Chinese zodiac, and this is not my number one forte. This is like a tertiary study, but they're in groups. They're in groups of three. So there's okay. It's a little complicated because you have to know like with these zodiacal stories, like there's interchangeable animals, right? So, like the cat, I believe, is the same as the rabbit, for example. And so, but they are in groups usually of three. There's only one exception where there's not a vat of three that conflict with one sign. And so, yeah, that's just to comment on that.
Opal said, "This is the year of the dragon. Connecting with dragon is amazing and beneficial to soul journey." Yes, and Opal does dragon readings. She did mine, and I know it was like an aquatic dragon. I don't remember what the name of it was exactly, but it was beautiful. Definitely resonates since I'm a water sign. So
Yes, I love that. And of course, as we're talking about animals, that's when mine decides to use me as a chew toy. She is such a little brat.
yeah, and then I got my dog Xena this year, which she had 9 puppies. I didn't know. I rescued her. She was pregnant. Did not realize because I just rescued her off the streets, not from like a shelter. Yeah, so now I have 6 dogs altogether. Where I was supposed to just have 2, but now we have 4 new puppies. Or not new. They're almost a year, or they are a year old now. So
Yeah.
yeah, but each one is very special to me, and they like embodied their names and just I don't know. I love them. I still would like to find 3 of them homes, but if not, then I'm here for it.
I would take one, but obviously I got my hands full with just one. Just one crazy.
I know Britta was saying
I do
earlier
not envy.
one. I'm like, okay, I'll ship one up there for you, North Carolina.
Yeah, when I had the 7 puppies still and Daphne, it was like a full-time job. And especially when, they get to the point where mom's not cleaning them anymore. Hey, stop.
Yeah, as soon
And
as I
so,
could, I
it's
was ready because they were a mess. And that was my first litter. I had never had puppies before. It was
yeah,
crazy.
I've only had these 2 litters, and it was a nightmare because I didn't really have the outdoor capacity that would
Yeah.
make it easy. I didn't have that like pen, and they were also escape artists like their mother. And so there was like one time, for example, and this was her litter before, we had mom in the crate with the 4 babies, and we come back inside and she is lifting one of the last babies out of the top with her nose, and then the other babies on the outside are chewing the zip ties because we had to zip tie the kennel because she could open anything.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so yeah, so that was
Well,
crazy. I love huskies and I love German shepherds, but I like wolf breeds of dogs the best anyway.
boxers are not that intelligent. They're big goofy goobers. They're just like dee dee dee. I love boxers though. They're my favorite. They're very friendly, very family dogs. Yeah. But another thing I wanted to discuss. Did you have anything else on the pets? I want to grab that book that I've been reading, and since did you read the book I'm reading, or were you talking about the infancy gospel of James? Because I have the miraculous conception of Mary, the lineage. Let me go grab it. Hold on one sec.
Okay, yeah.
But
Because I won't know by the cover because I read these all online.
okay, no, I don't think you can read this one online. Hold on.
Wolves are very cool, Joe. I agree. I love wolves. That's what I call Deathy. I call her the wolf baby. Or since her name is Death, I'll talk like her and say like, I am the knight.
Ooh.
Got no viciousness in her.
Here. Okay.
Kylie.
I have 4 chihuahuas. Oh, how cute. Yeah, I have 2 boxers, and then, like I said, I have the 4 pups. And they're like a boxer mix. I don't really know. They look like hound dogs, kind of. Labs, kind of. They're all so cute. So this is another thing I mentioned that we could talk about. So, the mystery tradition of miraculous conception. I know it's backwards. Sorry, guys. Mary and the lineage of virgin birth. So, did you read this, or are you just talking about the infancy gospel of James?
That's way more comprehensive than what I read. I read the infancy of James, and then there was one other text that I've got my hands on that had Mary in the title, but it wasn't the Gospel of Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, they also call the infancy gospel of James the birth of Mary. So that's probably what you read. But this book I highly recommend. Marguerite Rigoglioso. I don't know how you say it, but it's all about the divine conception of not only Jesus, but also Mary was divinely conceived by Anne. So Jesus was an avatar of an avatar. So I think it's fascinating, and I would like to know I know you know all about like mythology and Mary, just lots of things. So if you have anything, yes, Anne was her mother. Yes, but Anne was a divine birth priestess as well as Mary. So Mary was divinely conceived. According to this, and it has lots of evidence based on historical evidence, mythological evidence, stuff like that. So it's very intriguing. And
well, even in the infancy gospel, it alludes to the fact, and I can't remember what Anne's husband was, of course I can't, but it alludes to the fact that he was gone for a long time, and that's when she got pregnant.
Yes.
Like,
Joachim, is it Joachim? Is that how it's pronounced? It's a J, but I'm not sure. I want to say it's pronounced like a Y. Joachim.
Okay, like, yeah.
Because it's Joachim. So I'm assuming it's okay, Joachim. So yes, so they believe that because he went to pray in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. He was on this hiatus, like where he was in his own type of ritual. And so they believe that they maybe somehow on the astral level conceived. But at the same time, it goes into lots of details about how spirits would enter basically enter the womb during these rituals. And that they would conceive by like gods and different spirits. So that's why the children being born were considered like the holiest. They were like gods. And it makes me wonder if that's what they meant by the Watchers coming down and impregnating women. Were they really on a spiritual level impregnating them? Because
or even
it alludes to that. So, yeah, I think that's very interesting. Was Mary a Sibyl? What's a Sibyl? I'm not sure what that is. Sibling? What did you mean? Was Mary a Sibyl?
Sibyl does mean something. I can't look it up right now. It means something because that's why they named the main character of the movie Sybil about multiple personality disorder. They named her that for a reason. It means something more than just a name. I can't think of what it is right now. Joe asked a fantastic question. He said, was John the Baptist's mom too pregnant while right? And so like Elizabeth is an interesting segue here because according to these texts, Mary was given to the temple at 3. And she was there with other girls, and they knew the Messiah would come from one of these girls. And it very much does talk about it's from the bloodline that they're in. And so if Elizabeth and Mary are cousins, it would make sense that they might have grown up in this temple together, and that, you know, Elizabeth had the whatever the Immaculate Conception, you know, genes are.
Yes, well, they were trained in this. So they were brought up and trained as temple virgins. And Elizabeth did conceive John the Baptist in the same, they believe in the same ritual that Mary had Jesus. She had John the Baptist. Yes. So,
I mean, you
but
have to think of, you
Elizabeth,
don't.
I'm not sure if Elizabeth was divinely conceived herself, though. I think only Mary was. So that's why they knew Mary would conceive Jesus. Like they already knew. The priest like blessed her when she came in at 3 and said, you know, you will bring basically, I forget exactly what he said, but basically you're going to bring about the end of days, basically.
And you know, that doesn't discredit the idea of having all the other girls there too, and we don't know how many, but it's kind of like the oracles, right? Or like the Oracle of Delphi, where there's the oracle and then there's her handmaidens, and you don't know which one's which, and they had to do that because people wouldn't stop like essaying the oracle. You know, nothing changes, but so maybe it was kind of like this too, that that was a way to protect Mary's identity by having several girls, you know, who's the chosen one.
Yeah.
Just a,
Yeah, for sure. I know that during her ritual there were 7 other virgins, and they were also weaving the temple veil. So that was part of the weaving process of the temple veil, which was a huge project. I mean, it was like super thick, very large. It took like, I don't remember how many men. Oh, I'm doing a puzzle. Hold on. To carry or to open this veil. Something like 30 men or something, I want to say. Yes, and the oracles were really the Sibyls. Michelangelo painted 5 of them in the Sistine Chapel. Okay. I'm not familiar with those. But yes, they were weaving this, and like it says that Mary was in charge of the scarlet. So they each had their own colored threads, and basically they were weaving the universe on this. I mean, there was like pictures of the sea and the sky and just all this stuff, and she had red and purple. So it was the root and the crown. So it was, you know, it was like bringing the two together.
so there were 7 plus her, so there's 8 total.
Mhm.
Interesting. I
Mhm.
wonder what all, does it say what all colors that they got?
Yeah.
Each of them? I'm curious.
Yeah, it doesn't like name each girl, but hold on one second. My dog's scratching at the door.
No problem. But yeah, I love a good rainbow tie to things.
Okay, let me find the colors. Hold on.
Of course.
Come on, Zena.
Time.
Come on, Zena.
I love those paintings.
Okay, y'all behave. Hold on. Let me get back over here. Okay. All right. Let me see. I just read this yesterday, so shouldn't be too. Okay, the weaving of the sacred child. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, hi, Zena. Okay. Yes, right here. So, Josephus's account: gold, white, linen, which I don't know what, maybe like a tannish color linen, silk. Again, I'm not I'm not sure what silk would be. Violet, scarlet, and true purple. And then another account was from, wait, let me see. Or no, this is what it was, what was sewn on it. Okay. It was an image for the universe. For the scarlet, there seemed to be enigmatically signified fire. By the fine flax, the earth. By the blue, the air. By the purple, the sea. But the fine flax and purple. Yeah. So, oh, and it had mystical heavens and the 12 signs representing the living creatures. So it had the zodiac in the weaving as well.
You wish you could see something like that.
No.
And what happened to them?
So is earth, air, fire, and water, earthly creatures, and the starry heavens. Yep. Beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as they were weaving this veil, it was as if they were weaving the inside of the womb as well. So as within, so without. It was basically like part of the ritual process. I love that. And then the song, I'll kind of go into that because this is amazing. Because with my Kundalini experience, Noelle was asking about that earlier. I'll go into a little bit here. So I had a shamanic Kundalini awakening. So I was outside like dancing and chanting and singing, and I had taken a little bit of plant medicine, and um, I heard this song like so loud, like, and I saw everything outside dances to this song of the universe. It was beautiful, like angels singing. It was so amazing. But like that's all I could hear. So all I could do was sing and dance. I mean, there was no there was no like escaping this song. It was just powerful. Um and so it talks about this song being the logos. And it says it's a let me go to it permeates space and pours into beings. And so Rudolf Steiner, he talks about like the harmony of the spheres. Um, he says essentially it's one's soul rings with the overtones of the feminine universe when one merges with the Sophia Isis. And so it's crazy because in my Kundalini awakening, I merged with Hecate, who is the Divine Mother. She's an incarnation of Sophia. So it says, yeah, it's the feminine soul song of the universe, which is in everything. So I literally saw it in everything. It was beautiful. And I mean, I didn't conceive. It says this is what happens when they conceive, but. Anyway,
And then, didn't you say that song that I sent to you, that Hecate Caradwin song, was like the intro was like really close to what you heard?
yeah, it was really close. And I also found another a 432 hertz song on YouTube that's super close. It was just like a I don't know. I can't even explain it now. I have video of me chanting and dancing and singing and stuff because I was just like so in the moment. I wanted to, remember that. So did I send it to you and like put it together for you? I can't remember.
So I don't think you did.
Okay. I sent it to Truth. I know I sent it to Truth Seeker because he was like, "That's super cool." Like, yeah. So, but this like confirms it for me. I was like, "Wow!" Like I heard that.
Yeah,
So cool.
it's beautiful. You'll have to send me the author of that book, because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
already know her name.
Yeah. I'll send you the link for sure. But y'all definitely, if y'all are interested, it's great. Marguerite Reguloso. But I'll send it. And I made a video on it too. Um, just like I read a little portion of it. But after I finish this and then I read the Infancy Gospel of James, I'm going to do more content on it because it's fascinating. And I may even read the Infancy Gospel of James live, like I was doing the Gospel of Peace and the Gospel of Truth or something. I don't remember. I read a couple Gospels live.
Yeah, I remember that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I did too. I don't know. I kind of got out of it this year. I need to get back into going live every day.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I get that. I just got my live privileges not that long ago, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
It
doing
was.
like. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going and just reading a little bit every day, but working from home, it was just like so much to get ready every day. I got lazy this year, I guess, and just slacked off, and now I'm out of the routine. I need to get back into it. So
Yeah. Well, I love your lives too, though.
thank you.
I like how, like, when you're doing the reading ones, what I like the most is that if there's something that we had questions on, or you had questions on, or we didn't know the word, you would just be able to look it up right there. Instead of, it was just kind of fun to do that all together because people would have questions about things that I might have just like glossed over. So it's a fun
Yeah,
one.
I kind of broke down like everything because, yeah, I like doing that because ever since my Kundalini awakening, I see scriptures in a whole new light, especially because of the Christ oil process. I see it in everything, like I see what Jesus was trying to tell us about, just the way, the truth, the life is not like necessarily through Jesus the person, it's through the oil raising up the spine and becoming enlightened and having the Christ consciousness within you. So like it blows my mind how I never saw that before. And then after that happened, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's
I
in
think
everything.
the Mary Magdalene thing it's very fascinating to me. It's one of the first rabbit holes that I really went down after 2020.
Mhm.
It's actually how I found Cub Cooker of all people.
Yeah.
Was because of my Mary Magdalene rabbit holes that led to, of course, giants and all that stuff. So that's actually the reason. But I was like super deep diving into trying to find anything I can about her, and the problem with it, just like basically everything, is
Mhm.
that like all of this doesn't surface again until like the 1200s when someone supposedly finds her tomb, right? And so like
Mhm.
we have like this huge gap in time where like we don't have anything written, but we have like pseudepigraphy, or we have the Gnostic texts. And
Mhm.
like I wish we could have like the middle. Like I mean, there's legends about her death, who was with her, why the basilica was built, where it was built, and I just wish we could know for sure.
It's been suppressed. Even during the divine conception, it was like at the brink of when they were trying to suppress the matriarchal, and the patriarchal was, thank you, Darren, thank you so much, was like taking over. And so like, that's why in the infancy gospel of James, a lot of it is symbolic, and you don't realize that what's taking place. And she breaks it down because she knows the symbology used in the mythologies before, and all the stuff like going to the well and being under a sacred tree and all these things that allude to the rituals that they did. So it's very fascinating. They were, I think it was Anne. Yeah, Anne was under a sacred tree, and so was Elizabeth when she conceived Isaac. So Elizabeth was another one that was a divine birth priestess.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I've often wondered about the barren women in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and how it's worded, that Yahweh shut up their wombs. What
Mm.
is that? Like I can't just take that. Oh, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I know exactly what that is. No, I don't. So
Yeah, I don't know. I know that most of them were celibate for this purpose. Like they had to remain celibate in order to divinely conceive. So I'm not sure there. I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't know. I just wonder if like if there was something more to the women being barren than just a coincidence that would be you know so many figures.
The thing is, she was celibate. She was trying to divinely conceive the whole time. She wasn't like trying to have a baby naturally and
Yeah.
celibate and barren. She was doing these, sacred rituals, and thought she had failed at her destiny because she was trained in this. So that's the whole thing, is she wasn't naturally conceiving, but she wasn't trying to. She was
Yeah, I was meaning more like the Old Testament figures that are barren. I just wonder. Yeah.
Elizabeth. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I see.
She's
Gotcha.
trained in this too, yeah. And
Yeah.
so yeah. So it dates back like to, they talk about the Sumerian. They talk about all kinds of ancient mythology. Well, I say mythologies, but um, ancient practices. It talks about Greek. Um, I don't know how to pronounce some of these tribes, but there was several women's tribes that did all of this, and so it's really cool. Lately, I've been thinking if I could have a baby without a man. Well, according to this, yes. Even there was a woman in the 70s. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but she does talk about it happening. The baby didn't survive, unfortunately. Like I think it lived to like 3 months old. I'm not sure what the situation was there, but you have to have a super clean like diet. Like basically, you have to breathe light. You have to be like a breatharian, and like you were talking about earlier, how Mary was feeding the angels. It's actually the angels were feeding her out of their hands.
See, yep. Yeah,
So
I
she was eating
transpose.
light. She was
Yep.
eating breath. She was on like and when you do that, you suppress your cycle. And so because they felt like the cycle was like unclean, you know. And so so it's like all these things you have to do. But yes, according to this, it was recently achieved. I don't know if that's, true. She doesn't like say for a fact, but she says that it happened. Somebody was celibate and they did conceive a child miraculously.
Well, I mean, it has been observed in multiple species. We have a pregnant shark right now that immaculately conceived. So, yeah,
Yeah, the technical term is like parthenogenesis or something, but yeah.
yeah,
I wonder if sharks know what they're doing. Are they divinely conceiving?
the joke. That's the joke. It's like, is this going to be like Shark Jesus or what? What's going on? I don't know
Yeah.
if the sharks need a savior, if it's their time, but
That's funny.
yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I think things like this are part of the cosmic joke and like how mysterious nature is. Like you think that you have a constant rule or a law of the universe that always is going to act the same, and then nature
Mhm.
will show you that you know life finds a way.
Yeah. Well, and before I even knew any of this, I had heard a long time ago about an African tribe that was like a group of women, just all women. There was no men in the tribe, and they would continue their lineage. So they were somehow conceiving. I forget the name of the tribe, but I don't know if you've ever heard that. Um,
Yeah, I have heard of that before. And I have to go back. But like, like the Amazon women, the legends, they didn't have any men in their, yeah, so it's an interesting concept. And then you go back even further, to the stories of, and now this gets really woo woo because these are like fragmented pieces of tablets, but talking about how originally it was a matriarchy, and then these giant men came out of the sea, and which we've seen that in other mythologies too, like these really tall, powerful men with beards, blonde beards coming out of the sea, and they were the fish people, and then they subdued the matriarchy. I don't know, but it's interesting
I'm
stuff to
sure
think.
in Greek mythology, like who there was several miraculous conceptions with the goddesses, and yeah,
Definitely. Like the virgin birth story, like that goes back to like Isis, right? Now
right.
it's interesting because in some of the, like if you look at like Isis, Ishtar, Inanna, I mean these
Hmm.
are different areas, they've got some variations, but the idea that this was not from the act of consummating, like she
Right.
did this. So
Hmm. Yeah, it
yeah.
talks about those too, but I think it talks about Dionysus being divinely conceived. He was one.
Um, Dionysus is two people because he gets like upgraded.
Hmm.
So he starts out as Zagreus, and then later on he like earns his godhood at Dionysus as Dionysus. Like he was already, I can't remember, he was either already a demigod or he was a god, and then he got an upgrade. I should know that by heart, but yeah. So he dies and then is resurrected into, and in most of the tales it's Aphrodite who would be the representation of Inanna or
Hmm.
Ishtar or Isis, who does this. But then there's other stuff too, because Dionysus is one of the oldest gods of the entire pantheon, and he predates Aphrodite,
Hmm.
so you don't know. But Diana, uh, I believe she was immaculate. Or there's also like Athena and Aphrodite were created just by their dads with no mother. So
Ooh.
like Aphrodite is out of the castration, and Athena is a thought form.
Ah.
So
Hmm.
it goes both ways. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Sure.
Cole started as a demigod. So yeah, Zagreus was a demigod, and then later becomes Dionysus, which is one of the most revered and worshipped gods, and just crazy similar to Jesus.
Right. Yeah. Melissa, thank you for being here. She said, thank you for both letting me listen along. This is so empowering, Kylie says. Yes. Divinely guided. Yeah. So, yeah, I think everybody, every woman especially, should read this. Yes, that's the true Aphrodite was born from the sea by her father. Hmm.
Yep. I mean, he wasn't like there anymore, but part of him was. So
Awesome.
it's fun too because she emerges out of the sea foam. So it's not like I guess it's not that he makes her alone because it's his seed mixed with the sea foam that she emerges from. So
That makes
I mean
sense.
they get so creative.
Water is feminine. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it could be that.
Mhm. Awesome. The womb of Mother Earth is the sea. I learned so much from you ladies. Oh, thank you.
Very kind. Joe said, "What's weird? What's weird? Just read today how Sophia was creating without masculine, and yeah, that is a part of all of that too with her and Yaldabaoth. So there's sorry about that. I mean, though, we gotta wonder: is that story to like scare us from creating without a man? Because that was her big
She wants a screenshot. Here you go.
crime."
Did you get it? Yes. So that's yeah, that's an interesting story there. How she created Yaldabaoth, supposedly. So yeah, that makes sense.
But then, I mean, in the creation story, God can just make by himself, and that's okay. But when Sophia does it,
Well, to me, in the creation story, the light that hovers over the water, it is alluding to a masculine and feminine energy.
absolutely,
So,
I
I
agree
don't
with that 100%. Well,
know.
that's like where the cosmic egg, where Phanes is in. It's time and inevitability. Time being like the masculine, and inevitability being like this chaos. Anything that can happen will happen eventually, coming together and making the first being. So somehow it's still divine feminine and masculine.
Sorry, I was telling my son to hold it down. I don't know if y'all can hear him back there. But yeah, it's very interesting indeed. Um, Here's Coda. Coda, you want to say hi? Come here. Come here. Can you get over here? She's kind of getting old. Come here. Well, she doesn't really jump up anymore. Oh, oh, say hi. This is my baby Coda. She's just looking at me. I love you. Yes, I do. So, oh, there she goes. Little boxer face. Yeah, she's a good girl. I love you. Go play. Or go lay down. She doesn't really play anymore.
I wasn't gonna mention it, but boxers are the only dogs that I am adverse to.
You're
Um,
what?
I'm like boxers are the only dogs I don't really like.
Oh,
Um,
why?
isn't it funny? I know, because I love dogs, but I've been like mauled by a dog twice in my life. The first one was a collie, like a lassie looking dog. And I barely remember that, but I almost was scarred on my face for life. I
Oh,
was only
wow.
yeah, that one was crazy. But I wasn't afraid of dogs after that. I think I was too little. But then there was this house next to my grandparents where they had a lab, if you get my drift. but not the dog, like a different kind of lab, like in the basement.
Hmm.
And yeah, really weird too, because my grandparents had bought like they had bought a house in a really quiet neighborhood, so it was very bizarre. But they had a boxer who they mistreated, and he got out one day and he attacked my friend Sarah and I just still remember that boxer face, like how wide they go, like latching on to mine. So that's the only one. I still think they're adorable, but I can't do it.
Aw, I have not had any. Like they're the sweetest, goofiest. Like I guess if you mistreat them, yeah, I could see that. And especially being in that atmosphere, they probably were not. You know, they were probably under the influence of that a little bit.
Yeah.
If you get my drift.
Oh, definitely
So
not the dog's fault at all. And I've never had a different negative experience. It just kind of burns it in your brain.
yeah. Aw.
But maybe
Not
I'll
Dakota,
get
you're a
away.
good boxer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's
I
a good girl.
Yeah, and a little bit of that transfers to pit bulls too, but I love pit bulls. But it's something about when they open their mouth really wide, I get like a little flashback, little flashback.
I'm
So yeah,
sorry you do that.
well,
That sucks.
stay in school, don't do drugs.
Right.
Yeah, and don't let your boxers attack little girls in the street or
Yeah.
any dogs.
Yeah.
I have to do a
I
puzzle.
haven't had any I haven't been attacked. Actually, a wiener dog one time bit me, but that's about it. I haven't had any bad encounters with dogs. Now, my stepsister did by a mastiff, and I kind of watched it, but he just chomped down on her arm, and then kind of she got out of there. So she was just a little messed up.
Yeah,
But
big
that
girl.
wiener dog bit through my boot and broke my skin. They're little vicious little things that they can be. Those small dogs, you never know about them.
I know. I prefer big dogs.
Me too.
You know, the but the funny thing is, getting a husky, I always thought I was going to get a pretty big dog. They're both the runt of the litter though, so like Death only weighs 45 pounds and she's full grown. And it's like, you're a husky and a German shepherd. Like, did you not finish downloading?
I used to have a mini chocolate dappled dachshund. Oh, yeah, they're cute, but they can be like very territorial. I think, like, yeah, Tony was her name. Oh, cute. Yeah, I love my pups. So I have Goomba, who is my son's dog because like the Mario enemy Goomba. He's obsessed with Mario. And then these are the pups' names. And then Fat Fat, because she was like the greediest little pup, and she lives up to her name. She still is so greedy with the food. Bullet, who lived up to his name because he's like always between my legs, like one of those, what are they called? Tactile obedience dogs. I swear, if somebody would take him and train him, he would be the best at that. Like, so good. And then Striker, and he's black, and we talked about that before, being the cryptoid. That's something we could go on into if you want. I don't know much about him, but that's another animal thing. Is like kind of the scary side of the of the familiars would be like the cryptoids.
Wanted to go there and talk about like the not so happy experiences.
I've never really seen any. I don't know.
There's well, the first thing I want to say is that animals with dark coats, or specifically black coats, are the ones that get adopted the least at shelters, and that makes me exceedingly sad, especially having a cute black dog. And I think that just says a lot about us as a society that I'm not comfortable with. But the black dog in particular also is a cryptid, and it's thought to be an omen of death. And I've seen one twice, and they are wild. I've seen it both the times I saw them were in Minnesota, rural Minnesota. And what they are is that they're like, I've seen other kind of dog like cryptoids, but like this one is different because it's so tall and its legs are so disproportionately long. It's not much bigger than a normal, like, big German Shepherd or maybe a coyote, but the legs are so long and they run so fast you can barely see them. And both times that after I saw one, the first time there was a car accident up ahead. And so that was just kind of a weird coincidence. And the second time, I actually got news that a friend had passed, like just like an hour later. So kind of weird stuff up in the woods there.
Well, I guess I say I've never seen one, but I did see like a dark, like giant, like bird. I don't know what it was because it was night, but it looked like what do they call them here? Um, oh, I can't remember. But there's like a Mexican like scary bird that I
Like
can't
a
remember what it's
thunderbird,
called. Huh?
like a thunderbird.
No, I'm close to Mexico, so there's a bird that they Kukui or something.
Okay.
I can't remember, but it's like this scary bird that like will claw at you and stuff. And yeah, so I did see something like that. I don't know. It was giant and it was shadowy and it was dark, so I didn't see like detail, but pretty scary because other people saw it too.
That's
It wasn't
scary.
just me.
My partner has a similar story where he was with people, and they saw some kind of ridiculously, impossibly large bird. So I won't tell his story, but yeah, that terrifies me because you know how we talked about like like us together, we talked about like the trypophobia and like my fear of little holes. Well, that
Mhm.
applies to feathers growing in too.
Oh.
And so the idea of having to watch a feather grow in, I don't know, do they grow back? They probably do, right? I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
After you told me that about porcupine quills, I was like, "What?" So I tried to look it up. I couldn't find anything on it.
yeah, there was a simulation where porcupine quills, and I don't know if they grow those back either, but somebody put that video out to trigger people to have trypophobia because they did a time lapse where like the quills are coming through like the holes and they're getting like bigger and bigger, and it's just, yeah,
Anything. I
trypophobia.
was like, "I want to see."
Yeah.
That's
If
funny.
you Google trypophobia, right away
Oh,
you'll get like soft ideas of what it is, but then people will Photoshop and take things too far and traumatize people that have it. So
that's such a weird phobia. I've
it
never.
is so weird. And I was just telling Joe the other day that the thing about it is like it can happen anytime, anywhere, like you're unprepared. And what will happen mostly is there'll be like those like news sites or those like pseudo news sites where they have all the different articles you're going to click on. They have the really gross picture.
Oh, and
A
at the
lot of
bottom.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll do that kind of stuff. So it's it's
Gotcha.
not great. Could
Some of those
change.
pictures traumatize me, and I don't even have that phobia. They're just disturbing in general. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like an uncanny valley effect of nature or something.
Mm.
You know, it's just not right.
Another thing that I saw whenever I first got my job, I saw crows. Somebody mentioned crows earlier. I saw crows a lot, and that's like new beginnings and prosperity and stuff. So I thought it was a bad omen. But every time I would leave, because I went to training in a different town, so I was at a hotel for like a week, and every time I would leave the hotel, every morning I would see these crows, and they would pass right in front of my car. So I had to look it up, of course. Um, and I also saw a black cat every time I would go to church. And so, yeah, and I had to look it up too. And it was like, it was a mix, there was like good, and I guess with everyone, there's a mix. There's like the bad omen and then the good side of it. So, but yeah,
Like
very interesting.
all of that stuff. If I ever see a black cat, I always consider it a good sign.
Oh,
If
you
I see a
did.
cat in general, I'm just happy. But
Yeah.
I like to think of those as good omens. But the crows and the ravens, um, that goes that goes both ways too. Like, I mean, we've got Odin's symbolism in there,
Mhm.
which he's the All Father, he's a benefic, but then also, he is a war god, so there is that,
Yeah.
there's that aspect too. But I think anytime like you have an interaction with nature, it can be significant, and I don't think there's ever just like one time where it's like, okay, this is for sure a bad omen, unless maybe I see that black dog again. Then
Right.
maybe.
Yeah.
I've made videos and I've joked about the deer this year in my neighbor's yard right across the road. It started out like 3 of them, and then there was like 7 of them, then there was like 9, and they kept coming really close to the house, and they just kept growing. There's just like more friends every night. And then I was trying to film one of the moon phases this fall, and I was trying to get a witness to come out and see like these deer. They're like so close to the house, and they were kind of yonder. I opened the door, Melissa, and they're standing outside my porch staring into the door of the house. It was the most skinwalker. I mean, I have it on video too. I just wish it hadn't been so dark, but you can tell that they're there, and they keep coming periodically, and I call them the skinwalker deer because
Oh,
I don't know why they came up to my freaking door.
how cute. I did see, this is strange because, like, usually if you see, hey, Rosie, a deer like in the road, it's like running across the road, trying to get one way or the other. I passed the deer one time and it was literally just standing right in the middle line, staring at me the whole time I passed it, just like did not move, just looked right at me and like almost like turned its head as I'm driving by. So that was a little bit strange. I was like, okay. Yeah.
Another one that will do that to you are moose.
Hmm.
Moose will just like they'll block the whole road. They're vicious as heck, and they will like stare you down, and they won't move if they don't want to.
We don't have any of those here. Mostly we see deer and cows.
Moose are so dangerous. Moose kill like a lot of people a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they'll charge your
Big.
car. Yeah,
Mm.
they have no natural predator, right? So they just like do whatever they want. They're unchecked in the wild.
I want a moose for my familiar.
I don't, I don't.
If
So like
you
Wild
could team
America.
it, that would be cool.
Do you remember that movie from the 90s, Wild America, with Jonathan Taylor Thomas? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it also had the kid who played Casper with Christina Ricci, but he's like a little older. I mean, I think that's when I decided I liked boys, was this movie. But there's this scene with the moose, and the moose is like super aggressive, and everyone's like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Like, I wouldn't be scared of a moose. You should be scared of a moose. They're, yeah. That, like, I honestly would almost rather have the bear around than a moose because moose just don't give about anything. It's just crazy to be around them.
Wow, Rosie said for sure. That's crazy. I've never seen one, so I don't know. I've never been anywhere where there was moose. But yeah, they're really big. I know that. They look terrifying. So, I mean, if I'm scared of horses,
For real.
I think I'd be scared of moose.
For real. Yeah, think of horses with weapons on their head.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that to you.
What?
I shouldn't have said that to you.
Oh, no, it's okay. I mean, just thinking of it is not as scary. I have to actually see one. Moose are massive. Yeah. I came across a video on here with a moose on the highway twice the size of an SUV. Holy crap. That's
See,
crazy.
the animals can be big and they can be scary, right? But like if you go out of your way just to mess with humans, I mean, I get it. Like I get why, but it's like how hippopotamuses kill more people every year than any other animal besides the mosquito.
Really? I did not know that.
Have you ever seen them eat pumpkins or like gigantic watermelons and stuff? They have these teeth. This is not the animal episode I was planning, but they have teeth that look like wooden like logs, and they're like squared off at certain parts, and some are sharp and some are just like flat. And they will take a whole pumpkin and just bomb, bomb, bomb. But they're aggressive. They
I
don't
did see
like.
one go after like a zookeeper or something in a video recently, and that was pretty scary. I know he didn't make it. I was like, oh, well, good thing I didn't see. I didn't see it. I just heard like you see it up until he gets him. So you see it like screaming at him, and I'm like, oh my lord. Oh,
And in the
so
wild,
yeah, pretty terrifying.
they'll chase you in the water or out of the water, because they can go both and they can swim. Like, it's just, there's no escaping the
Weird
hippo.
that they kill more people because I just didn't see the interaction with hippos and people that much. But I guess
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Maybe in other countries.
I know, but why didn't they tell us that? Because, like, let's say it was naive me that never had the internet that went on an African safari. And if I saw a hippo and I saw a lion, I would be like, lion bad, hippo good. But it's not true.
Yeah, right.
True.
Thank you, Rosie. Yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? Something about the so what got me thinking about this was the moose thing, but like what about have you heard of like the white buffalo calf woman and the sightings of the and there's a new white buffalo, I believe, that just was born. Yes. So do you know anything about that mythology or
Just started going down this rabbit hole yesterday. So no, I don't know as much as I want to, but I listened to this chief that was talking about the whole legend behind it, and it was really interesting, and it was like it's an omen and a blessing at the same time. But
yeah.
apparently, like, this the white buffalo being born isn't like the special part. It's the fact that this specific herd that they watch has kept a white buffalo alive, or like has reproduced one, like as long as whatever the legend is. So I think that's kind of part of it, and that's a sign that like the mother spirit is paying attention and needs like her kids to listen to her, kind of thing, is what I gathered. So that'd be really interesting. But also, the white buffalo is tied to Odin, so I think that's interesting too. Just yeah. But to see like the full grown white buffalo like amongst all the other buffaloes, I saw pictures and stuff. It's just striking. It's gorgeous.
Hmm. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but is it a Hopi prophecy or is it's some Indian prophecy, right? Thank you, Frank.
The chief that I no, this is a tribe that is in like South Dakota, I believe. So
Okay.
I don't know if that's like Lakota or Cherokee. I didn't get that far because
Cool.
I don't. Well, nope, that's not true. I just got an ancestry test back because they update it, and I am 0.9% Native American.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Point nine.
Yeah, but I did not grow up with all of that, but it's absolutely fascinating. I just love that that they've been able to keep an eye on this one herd. That's just like a beautiful thing.